Good morning. Today is the 17th day of First Adar, the 26th of February. And we're going to start chapter 2 in Machatzit HaShekel soon. But here he's going to talk a lot more about the whole mashal of the whole parable of the scales. So what I thought we'd do is, I forgot to print you out the model. I was also going to try to translate it into English. I'm sure there are words in English for all these things. So maybe it's a little premature even to do it without knowing the English words. Maybe we should do it for tomorrow, the last class that we have together, last time we meet. He's going to Miami.
I forgot you're going to.
So we're going to have to find something else to. We're going to have to find something else to learn in the meantime until he gets back, because he doesn't want to miss for some reason. All Chasidus is the same. It doesn't matter where you. It's like Mara. You can leave for 4 pages and come back. Everything's fine. Okay. So let's just say this. In Bava Basra, what he has here. So there's a concept that the soul of the scales is hanging in the air. That's from Bava Basra, Peites 89a. Nefesh moznaim hu barzel chalul she'alashon kavua bo. Rashbam there says that the soul of the animal of the scales is the hollow piece of iron in which the tongue is placed. I think the tongue is the part that moves like that. So I guess it's a crossbeam actually, or it's a little bit of a something. Or actually, it should be from what I remember. It's top to bottom. But I have to bring. I used to have a picture of scales with all the English words on it, even, or at least what I thought were the English words. I think. Hainu sod butzina de kardunita. That's called the kava midah. The kava midah is the light, the ray of infinite light that comes down into reality in order to create the worlds. So that's what this does. And that's the nefesh, that's the pnimius, the interiority, as they now translate, of the scales. And in the Sfirot, this would correspond to Chokhmah Stima. Chokhmah Stima, the concealed wisdom, is the wisdom in the crown. And the wisdom in the crown is where all the chushim come from, all the, what we call talents, come from. הברזל החלול, נפש מאזניים, מוח הסתימה, הוא בסוד ארץ אשר אבני הברזל, ארץ השם הרצון לכתר. Okay, this is not the parts. And he has a lot more on the sod, on the ברזל. Okay. There are 2 ears, they're called. The left ear and the right ear. Why are they called like that? So we have to see what these are. I think these are not the cups, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, they're Chesed and Gvura. So each one of them has 2 parts. There is the part that you see and the part you don't see. I have to see this. I don't remember the whole model, so I have to translate it into English. Yeah, but the pan is something else, not the ozen.
Sits on top of 3 pieces of metal. Holds it in place. You can't see that.
Yeah, right.
But there's underneath the pan. But sticking over it, covering the very edges of the pan, you can see 3 little pieces of metal.
So the pans in Hebrew are called kapot muznaim. Yeah, so here he has thank you. Here they have a nefesh. You can see the nefesh here, this piece. Nefesh muznaim. So it's not the kaneh. The kaneh is that's what I remember. It's the vertical. It's the horizontal part. See this? Sorry, maybe.
When you turn it around and bring it closer.
Yeah, this one, suddenly you see it. The 2
good
cups.
Get to that.
And what?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh,
So that's not in the. This is in the payroll.
Right. Yeah. So the 2 cups. The 2 cups are. These are the cups. You call them pans, but they're called cups. And actually, the word in English is the same word as in Hebrew, because in Hebrew we say kaf. What's a kaf? It's also one of these things that people don't think about. Okay, but in Hebrew it's called a cup. Kaf muzayim. It's a cup. I wonder if you would see.
The etymology.
Yeah, it's the same word. And then the chokhmah in bina is the top part, meaning This would be here and here, the ozen. These are the two ears, and then the part that extends down to hold the cup, or as you call it, the pan, is the chesed and gvura.
You mean it's suspended by chesed?
There's where it's suspended on the horizontal beam.
Yes.
That's the chokhmah and bina. That you don't see, as it were.
Oh, we don't see that.
Well,
I mean,
it's there.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
And then the usually it's links, chain links, that go down into the pan, as he called it, the cup. Those are the chesed and gvura. And the cup itself is netzach and hod. So that's the left and the right axes. Okay, but the way that they put it here, there's two options. Either it's suspended from above, like you see here, or it has a base. So when it's suspended from above, so the nefesh is now connected to something on top of on the ceiling. So that would be the higher part of the crown. The chokhmah of crown is arich. That's the lower part. And the higher part, where it's suspended on the ceiling, where it's connected to the ceiling, so that would be the atik of the crown, the higher part of the crown. And so the middle axis is this whole vertical base that everything's hanging on, right, in the end. So there's different parts to it. Now, there's also the stones that you use, right? You have to have.
The weights.
There's the weights, right? In Hebrew, it's called an ephah. Sela, ephah. They have names. They have names of weights.
Yeah, it's a weight. Yeah,
right, but it's like a stone. Ephah shlema. You should have a full stone. So there's what you're weighing, and there is the weight that's countering it.
I have some if you want.
What?
I have some if you want.
What weights? Yeah, I saw you have in your room. So the weight goes in the left cup, and it's supposed to rise, like we said. And what you're weighing goes in the right cup. And so the whole idea is, and what's in the right cup? What the material that you're weighing, that's the yesod. That's the tzaddik of the whole thing. So the tzaddik is pushing down, and the left with the weight is going up. So that's the whole idea that we talked about yesterday. Where's the tiferet? Where's das here? And where malchus is obviously the base, if you have a base. But I don't remember where the tiferet and the das are. Okay, go. Kaf. Okay, anyway. So this is, maybe I'll even translate it for tomorrow, the whole thing, because it's very interesting. So this is the basis for what we're going to now look at the shekel. What is the shekel? Shekel itself is a weight. What is it? It's 20 grams. If I'm correct in my recollection, that a geira is a gram. It's almost the same thing. It's like 0.99 of a gram or something like that. And that's where it came from. So we're on page Samach Vav Aleph. Now we want to explain what shekel means. Because the shekel is like one of the weights with which we weigh the cups or the pans of the scales. Based on the amount of weight in one cup. So the word in Hebrew is machriya. Machriya is very interesting. Machriya means to win. To force. To force something. So what's forcing? So there's a halacha, a very important halacha, that when you're weighing, let's say, cheese on one side, that's your yesod, that's your tzaddik now, and you have weights on the other side, so people think it needs to be balanced, because it's a balance. It's supposed to be equal. But the halacha is that you have to be machriya. You have to force. What does it mean to force? That the Baal Habayit, the person who's selling the goods, has to push down on the right side. meaning there has to be enough material there that whatever it is not just balanced with the weight on the left, it has to actually lift it up. Which means that you're always giving more than what the weight indicates. And that's a very important halacha called machriya. That's what it's called. So what he's putting in one side, machriya kenegdo bakaf hashniya. And it's not just that it's equal, like he says, it's machriya. It's forcing the other one up, the left side up. U'chsheichbad yoter hamishkal shebakaf harishona, obviously the right side, the more there is, when there's enough material on the right side, kol kamut sheichbad biyoter ad sheyired lemata, kach leneged shiur ze mamash yugba kaf hashniya lemala. So as much as there is more material there, the left will rise up. Mochen al derech mashal, kodesh ha'elyon hanal. The same way, this thing that we've been calling the kodesh elyon. The kodesh elyon, we said, is the light that comes out of the mitzcha avak, out of the forehead of primordial man, which is the source of these 5 aspects of loving kindness. Nishkal bekaf moznei chokhmah. So now, what he's saying is it goes into wisdom. Why wisdom? Because that's where Moshe Rabbeinu comes from. Moshe Rabbeinu, we said, is the foundation of wisdom. He's the yesod of Abba. He's the yesod of Abba that comes down. He's the one who brings these 5 aspects of loving kindness down. So he says, first it's weighed in the balance of Chokhmah. ומחציתו הימני יורד בבחינת המשכה מלמעלה למטה להוסיף אורות באצילות על ידי מעשה המצוות כנ"ל. ומחציתו השמאלי יורד בשביל העלייה והסתלקות שיתעלה ויתרומם למעלה כשיכריענו הכף הימני כנ"ל. So he says, the right side, it divides into 2, but we said that always when it divides into 2, it's really a third and 2/3. But in any case, what he's saying here, the half goes into the right side, and there it's coming down into the world of emanation in order to increase the amount of mitzvot that people do. And the left side, half that goes into the left side, goes down in order to cause the elevation when the right side wins against it. כי לפי ערך ההמשכה שמתחילה, כך הוא שיעור העלאה הבא מכוחו אחר כך, כי המד הבא לעורר המן, הרי המן שאחר כך הוא כפי ערך המד שנמשך מתחילה. So, this is not clear in the beginning, like, what's going on here. We were talking all the time that first of all, Chokhmah, through Moshe Rabbeinu, gives it to Zah, and then Zah gives a part to his female counterpart. But not that Chokhmah is doing something. But not
Chokhmah is
doing anything. It didn't sound like that. It didn't sound like Moshe Rabbeinu was doing anything. Moshe Rabbeinu is just a foundation of Chokhmah. But still, what's happening over there? Is there anything going on? So now he's saying, yes, there's something going on. What's going on? He's weighing it. How is he weighing it? He's dividing it into a third and 2/3, or half and half. So you think, so where do these 2 halves go? He says one of them is a drawing from above to below. And that causes the increase, we haven't heard about this yet, but an increase in Torah and mitzvos. So who's that going to be for? Who's going to increase in Torah and mitzvos? So that's supposed to awaken the feminine to go and do something, right? That's what it's meant to do. But half of it goes down in order to cause the elevation. So that should be in the feminine. So what are we saying here? How does this all work? Because the amount of feminine waters that go up is proportional to the amount of awakening from above that came down. Still, why is this some division into 2? What's going on here? So he says, "Avanat ha'inyan la'ashuro lemala," to understand this properly above. Yuvan al pi ma shekatav Araya Mehemna, man Machatzit HaShekel. We have to go to Araya Mehemna. Araya Mehemna is at the beginning of Parshas Kitisa. And we have it here, if you want. Man Machatzit HaShekel. What is the half shekel? We already read some of it, but now he's going to read more of it. Avna lemishkalba, a stone to weigh with it. He's skipping a little. Da yud, which is 10. Esrim gira shekel da yud. So we have yud just as a letter, that's 10. But when you write out the filling, it becomes 20. Okay? Yud vav daled. So yud vav daled together is 20. So we have that if you say yud by itself, what is this shekel? We want to understand what's this shekel? Man machatzit HaShekel. So the shekel would then be the full writing of the yud, filling, yud vav daled, and the half of it is just the simple letter, yud by itself, which is 10. So you have 10 and 20. Da yud, shashekel hashalem 20 gerau, yud b'miluo. Because the full shekel has 20 gera. So that's the yud written out in full. U'machatzito yud pshuta. And the half of it is just a simple yud. V'zeu sheitnu liot mizeh truma laHashem. And that's what it means, that they should take from it to be a donation to Hashem. Why? Ki vav hu akol, v'dalet hu adibur. So now he says, in the filling of the yud, the vav stands for sound, for the voice. And dalet is the speech. What is he talking about? There's two things, kol and dibur. There's the sound, the kol, that comes out, but then there's dibur, which is that it's articulated, the sound that comes out is articulated or phoneticized into letters, into actual speech. And these are the vav and the dalet, he's saying. Ve'akol kalul, and the sound itself, kalul me'esh ruach mayim. In order to make sound, you need 3 ingredients: fire, wind, and water. So this is all from the Raya Mehemna. You have to live with him. I don't remember where he says the fire, wind, and water, but this might be that he's adding it. Not sure. But in any case, what is fire, wind, and water? So in order to make sound, there has to be air, certainly. That's the wind. Why do you need water? Because if there's no what would you call it? Lubrication. You can't make it for a line. It just it dries it out. It doesn't work. And the fire that we say comes from the heart, which is the source. So anyway, we have to finish here. So God willing, tomorrow we'll try to wrap something up before we take a break for how long? A week and a half? 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks? We're going to be in Purim already. Okay, so we'll try to